Hi, guys, and welcome to another edition of Zupro's SEO Talking Tea. Today's conversation is about semantic content, it not being creative, but it's effective. The reason why this is important because a lot of people ask for what are SEO recommended content that we should put on the site. And often the SEO recommended content is not very creative, but at the end of the day, it's very effective. So I want to kind of talk about that today. But before we begin, I want to introduce the tea we have today because this is Zupro's SEO Talk and Tea. The tea we have is a Darjeeling black tea from Black and Bold. Again, this is a gift from my housemate for the entire house, so we're enjoying it for our call today. So let's go ahead, get brewing, and get talking. So semantic content. Semantic content, just as we have another video about what semantic content is, and so if you need to kind of do a refresher, just go ahead and look that one up, and I'll, in that video, I explain what semantic content is. What I want to discuss more is how semantic content usually has the content recommendations that don't sound very sexy. So a good example is if you wanted to, let me use one I actually dealt with before. If you were a dentist, I would usually recommend you write a blog post about what is a dentist, what is an orthodontist, what's the difference between a dentist and an orthodontist, what is a cavity, what did you expect in a checkup. These are topics that off the bat they just sound so not creative. Like if you were a dentist who has gone through years of dental school, and then your marketing company or SEO company is telling you, hey, can you write a blog post about what is a dentist? There's a little bit part of me like, what? Like, why would I write that, right? But the reason being is that a lot of semantic content is just about understanding what your site is. Your website doesn't know that you went to years of dental school. Your website doesn't know who you are. I mean, your website, Google doesn't know that you know who you are. So Google doesn't know that you went to school for years. It doesn't know your background. All it knows is you have this one website with a couple pages on it. If you can add semantic content on your website, like what is a dentist, what makes a dentist good, what's the difference between a dentist and an orthodontist, what's the difference between a dentist and a pediatric dentist, it will give Google a better understanding that you are a dental website and that you have enough content that kind of gives you a good library of content that separates you from other websites. Because you have to think about it in this way: if you are a dental website and there's like five more in your city, and the average dentist site has like, I don't know, like 5 pages, and the content on each page is like 500 words, but your website has like 200 pages worth of worth a lot of content on there, like let's say like 1,000 words per each content, and they're all semantically related. You have a much more thorough library to start ranking on Google, right? So of course, Google and rankings are not all about content; it's about link building content and technical SEO. But again, like where a lot of websites I feel like fall short in things that they can directly control is their content on their website. And I think where they fall short is that they try to be too creative with their content at times. They try to brainstorm on a whiteboard. What's a groundbreaking piece of content we could write that can go viral? When it comes to SEO, engagement and exposure is good, but also there is content to supplement your SEO in the sense that it just shores up what your site talks about. So there will be times where your content seems so basic, but that's okay because that basic content doesn't need to be read by too many people, but it's read by the crawlers of Google who can say, okay, this website wants to rank for this keyword, and they talk about all these relevant semantic, related topics. We can have more confidence that that's what this site is actually about, right? And so when it comes to SEO rankings, it's not always about business to consumers. There's a third layer to it. It's also business to Google crawlers to consumers. So again, when you're doing semantic content, expect it to be not so creative, and that's okay. When you're thinking about it, especially for SEO purposes, you're trying to shore up your portfolio of content so that Google has better confidence about what your website's about. And that's what semantic content really revolves around. And then after a while, once you kind of fill in those gaps, you can then start going to more creative ones. But what I always encourage with SEO, if creativity is causing procrastination, then it's okay to go for the basic content. Creative has nothing bad about it, but when you're letting it stop you from writing a piece for months, we need to start moving, right? So hopefully that will help you in understanding content, the content side of SEO. Semantic content is a big part of SEO nowadays, so it's important for businesses to understand that. If you found that video valuable, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks, everybody.